Hey guys, welcome to this edition of the Blu-Review where we're talking about G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra. I gotta start this off by putting this out on Front Street. I was a huge fan of G.I. Joe, Real American Hero, when I was a little kid. And that's the only G.I. Joe I know. Actually, G.I. Joe has been around longer than I've even been alive. It's been a toy franchise ever since my dad was a little kid, and probably even before him. In the 1980s, they turned G.I. Joe into a cartoon called G.I. Joe Real American Hero. That's the one that I grew up with. The theme song, the action figures, all the things that were part of that show were part of my childhood. This is a sort of bastardized version of that. If you grew up with that, or you grew up with the television show in the mid-90s, you're probably going to hate this movie, because it really has little or nothing to do with those two cartoon series. It's basically a generic action movie in the vein of Transformers and those things. There's a lot of explosions, there's a lot of yelling, there's a lot of running, there's a lot of over-the-top action sequences that have no impact whatsoever. It's stupid, but a lot of those movies could be fun. And that's sort of what you're looking for, just something to sort of kick back and have fun with and not overanalyze. This one isn't any of those things. It's boring, it's lame, it's kind of slowly paced, the characters are all kind of ridiculous, you don't care about any of them. I didn't care about any of them. And it's even more difficult if you grew up with, I think if you grew up with the cartoon, it's going to be even more difficult because you know the characters. And you're sort of going, oh, what the hell is this? The worst is the Baroness. The Baroness, I think, is the single worst character in this movie. And that's saying a lot, because there's a lot of really bad characters. They fucked up Cobra Commando, they fucked up Destro, they really fucked up, they really fucked up the Baroness, and they gave Snake Eyes a mouth. Like, I guess they were like, this dude needs a mouth. I don't know what's going on. He doesn't speak! What the fuck does he need a mouth for? But apparently they incorporated it. And it's not just like, he's like got a cutout for his mouth. No. The actual mask incorporates a fucking mouth into it. Like, what? The special effects in this movie are really horrible. I mean, they're like early 90s special effects. They're like Escape from LA special effects sometimes. And you're just like, what? This is 2009. This is a huge blockbuster movie, and they're turning in special effects that are subpar. I don't understand that. It's from director Stephen Sommers, who did The Mummy, and The Mummy Returns, and he did Van Helsing. Now Van Helsing had some really shitty special effects in it, and The Mummy, the first two Mummy movies didn't have a great deal of special effects in it, but some of them were really shitty. Particularly in The Mummy Returns with that big water, and it's supposed to be like the guy's face coming out of the water. Ugh, that's horrible. They're only exaggerated to its extreme in high definition, where they just look even faker, which takes you out of the movie, because it's like, what the fuck is this? Half the time, there's so much special effects that you feel like you're watching like an shitty animated movie, or like a video game, more than you are watching a movie. And the camera just swirls around all over the place, where you're just like, what the fuck is going on? I don't know, and I don't care. I don't know. I think the worst thing I can say about this movie, apart from everything else that I have said, is that it's just not very much fun. Whatever else you can say about crappy kind of action movies, summer blockbuster action movies, the ones that are the most successful are the ones that are the most fun, and the one that you can kind of come back to time and time again. I don't think I ever want to watch this movie again. It was boring, it was way too long, it wasn't very much fun, and it had crappy effects. The picture quality on it was actually pretty good. The colors were enriched and all the things that you expect to see in high definition, but it also didn't blow me out of the water like some of the other transfers I've seen, particularly on Transformers 2. I'm going to say it's at least a 4. I don't know that I really feel comfortable going too much higher than that. It's certainly not a 5. It had really good audio, which is, you know, what you expect from this kind of an action movie. I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't like this movie. That's just my opinion. I hated it. But if you did like the movie, I don't think you're going to be too disappointed with the disc. Peace.